reasons why, right? Understand, Opal, when Rose is calling you about a thing that she's coming from a different perspective than you are. Try to understand that perspective. You both have to be my highlight. We all have shit. Like, everybody's got their stuff. You know, here the curtain goes up. Take all of your stuff. Whatever your stuff is, all of it. And before you come here, put it in a nice, tightly wrapped box and leave it at the door.
Donald Trump.
When we're here, it's about being nice and positive and welcoming to all. And we all have our histories, right? We all have our stories. We saw some of them up on the board today. But here is a welcoming place. Here, it's okay for you to be nice to each other. No one is going to penalize you for it. I don't know what happened in each of your pasts. You know, I would love to get to know all of you better. But there's stuff you're not going to want to share, and a lot of that stuff that's deep, right, way below the onion layers, when you get down to the core, you may not feel like it's okay to be nice because maybe you haven't been around niceness. Here, it is okay to be nice, right? All of your shit, leave it at the door. This is 8 hours a day that you don't have to think about it, deal with it, whatever it is, your medical, any of it, leave it at the door. I am responsible for my own happiness and well-being. I will not blame other individuals, groups, or institutions for my unhappiness. It's on you. If you are unhappy, it's easy to point at somebody else and say, that's why. It's my ex-boyfriend's fault. It's my mom's fault. It's the Dunkin' Donuts lady's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. I'm unhappy because Donald Trump is president of the United States, right? But it's not. You are exclusively in control of your own life. You have to be okay with that. You have to have that mindset. If you don't, and you're waiting for other people to make you feel happy, it's not going to happen. You are responsible for your own well-being and your own happiness. Exclusively you. All right, solutions. Here are the ripple-free ways to manage these examples using facts and mindset shifts. Shelly and John. When they sit down and Shelly says, John, I really want to help you with your certificates, he is now open to that, right? He is open to coaching from all. Collaborate. Work together on those solutions together. Be open to the collaboration and the help. Don't do this. Don't say, don't step on my toes. I do it my way. I just want it to have to be done my way. And that's that. Be open to the change. Don't just offload your problems onto someone else. When you have problems, come with proposed solutions. So in the Christina certificate case, he can now, John can go to his supervisor and say, listen, I talked to Christina, we collaborated a little bit, they don't have the information they need for walk-in enrollments. I would like to work with you to come up with a walk-in enrollment process so that we can get the information out to everybody and roll it out company-wide. Recognize that you are part of something bigger than yourself. Terry and his girlfriend, I want them to have date night on Tuesday. Right? Like that's an important part of life, and I totally recognize that happiness exists outside of these walls, and if you need to find it. But when you do it by dropping the rock in the lake without regard for everyone else, that's the ripple. There are ways to properly handle this. If Terry goes to his supervisor and says, listen, I'd really like Tuesdays off. I know it's not going to happen immediately, but can we come up with a plan for me to have Tuesday nights off? Now Terry and his manager can work together with Steve and get it resolved. Without just saying, I'm off on Tuesday, right? Get to the solution even if it takes time. Knock it off, right? Like this one's pretty easy. The reason that I love today and tomorrow so much is because I love talking to people that I don't get to talk to all the time. I like hearing about Tassif and Jerry's running routines. I like hearing about Jeff's dog and Alexa's new house. I like hearing about John's daughter and how his wife is driving him nuts today. I enjoy hearing what shows Al has coming up for his music, right? I like hearing about Brian. I like hearing about Jose. I like to build those relationships. I like to know when Bee's baby is due and how excited she is to meet that little guy, right? Like hearing how Cheryl's journey is going and Don's journey is going. I like building those relationships. Do you know what we're not doing when we're talking? Hey, so-and-so called out last week and it really fucked up my day. We're not doing that because we're taking that time and energy to build deeper and more meaningful friendships and relationships. You can spend the time out in the parking lot gossiping about others, or you can spend it getting to know each other better, helping each other be better, helping the organism, the organization as a whole be better. Just knock it off. Hi. That's okay. All right, I rewrote some Tiny Pulse responses. This one, sharing is one thing. On the other hand, anyone expecting feedback or action is delusional. Feedback is filtered and made nice by fearful messengers. We do have the opportunity to share, and I appreciate the ability to have our thoughts heard. I do believe we could use a feedback mechanism so that we can see our thoughts actually cause change. It sometimes feels like my thoughts fall on deaf ears or are not being brought through the necessary channels. This starts a dialogue. I can respond to this. I read this and I want to know more, right? I read this and I want to find you and yell at you. I read this and I want to know more. I want to help this person. I want to make the organization better for this person. The words you choose matter. Don't just lob the grenade. Be thoughtful about what is my desired outcome and what are the steps I need to take to get there. Maybe seeing a manager from time to time and an occasional kind word. You're great at criticizing, but Tiny Pulse cheers thing is a cheap excuse for motivation. Makes me kind of sad because I like receiving cheers. They make me feel kind of like sending them too. It would be great to see my manager and get feedback more regularly. Tiny Pulse cheers are great, but in-person praise would be welcome and appreciated. This starts a dialogue. This is something that a manager will read and say, great, I want to come see your class. I want to go sit with you in your driving lesson. I want to sit with you in the call center. This starts a dialogue. This doesn't, it can't start a dialogue. There's no positive place to go from it, right? This is a place where we want people to be nice, positive, and welcoming. The world obviously isn't perfect. The next street is not perfect. I am certainly not perfect. You are certainly not perfect. I don't have delusions that we are going to make a perfect utopia for people to come. Where you're actually going to be able to take all your stuff, put it in a box, close it, and not have that affect your day. It's not possible. But I do want to make sure that everybody in here knows that my goal is to create a warm and welcoming environment. My goal is to eliminate the donkey. Whether that's just a donkey that's negative and is always going to be negative, or if it's a really nice person that's kind of just having a bad day. How can I make that person's day better? It's not going to be a utopia. It's not going to be perfect. But the culture of the organization is one that supports niceness, positive thinking, and welcoming to all. I worked on, probably I've been